Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Book Club. We have Brigid Kemmerer here with us today to talk about
Hi.
her book, Warrior Princess Assassin. I'm so excited
Yay.
about
Thank you
this
so much for
book.
having me.
If
So
any
excited.
if anybody has any questions, add them to our chat. Kelly is going to be monitoring it the whole time. And Kelly, let everybody know that the person that chat with us the most, they get a chance for a giveaway from Brigid at the very, very end, which is a giveaway that I honestly want myself. So I
Should
don't
I
want to give it
show
away
it?
to people.
Should we show it
Yes,
early?
yes, yes.
Yes.
Oh my God, it's
It's
so
a physical
pretty.
arc of Captive
It's
Traitor
so good.
King, the sequel to Warrior Princess Assassin.
I am so excited about that one. And I cannot believe we have to wait until November before it officially comes out.
I
That's such a long
know.
time.
It's torture.
It is torture.
Yes, it sure is torture.
Yes.
I'm chatting with everyone right now. It's easier for me to be on the phone and type in here. So
I
I'm
bet
like,
it is.
I want this arc so bad. Look at us.
But as we say to everybody, pour yourselves a drink, come escape reality with us, and let's talk about this book right here, right now. So, Brigid, before we get into the official questions, would you like to start us off with a spoiler-free summary of Warrior Princess Assassin?
Absolutely. So, Warrior Princess Assassin, despite the title sometimes implying that we are talking about one individual, it is actually about three. We have a warrior, a princess, and an assassin. The princess is named Jory, and she is secretly best friends with an assassin named Asher. They have been very close friends since they were children. They would absolutely be a little bit more. But unfortunately, Jory has been promised to marry this fearsome, terrible warrior king that she really wants absolutely nothing to do with. Um, and this is Kai, Maddox Chironin, known as Kai. He is he's this man with this terrible reputation that Jory is being forced to marry so that she can kind of protect her people. There's just a very necessary alliance going on. She's ready to do this, though. She's ready to go through with it. She's ready to do what she needs to do to protect her kingdom. Except the night before she's due to get married, her friend and assassin, Asher, comes to her and says, I have been assigned to kill two people, you and the man you're about to marry. And he basically asks her, what should we do about it?
Uh-oh.
That is the best part is he's like, what should we do about this?
Yes.
Like, I'd like your opinion on this because I'm really, really screwed up with the fact that I have to kill you and this other guy who happens to be a king.
Yes, poor Asher. Like, Asher, like, he definitely has some opinions, but
He has a lot of opinions.
he doesn't want to let
But
Jory down.
But it's a crappy position to be in that you have to assassinate a king. A king that is now going to marry a princess from two very powerful realms on this continent. No big
Yes.
deal. No big deal.
Totally fine.
Yeah, that's not a big deal. So the first thing I have to compliment you on, and it has to do with this funny argument that I have going with Lindsay and Kelly. So I don't like blonde MMCs at all. And they get so mad at me because obviously they're
Asher and
blonde.
Kai are both blonde. Yeah.
They
They
are.
are. And I don't have a problem with like an ice blonde MMC. Like, because usually I find that authors write those like they write like a black haired MMC. So I don't have a problem with those. But usually, like, I just don't like a blonde MMC because I don't like the way that authors write them.
That's so interesting.
I love.
Interesting or annoying, Brigid? Tell us the truth.
I mean,
She just immediately like, oh, he's blonde, done. I'm like, no.
I'm like, I'm just going to pretend he's not blonde. No,
She
I-
is wrong.
I love Kai so
Yay!
much.
Yay.
And I love
Mhm.
Asher so much. They are fantastic to me. So every time in future books, when I say, ugh, I hate a blonde MMC, these two are just going to be like Warrior Princess Assassin.
Yep.
And then I'm just
Sorry.
gonna have to shut up the whole time. 'cause
Sorry
I'm
I
like,
did that to you.
no, you did something
I'm
that
not really
nobody,
sorry.
Thank you.
nobody has
Truly.
ever been able to do this. And I absolutely like fiercely love these MMCs. And I am
Yay.
so utterly surprised by myself. It was so congratulations.
Thank you.
You did
Thank
something
you.
nobody else has done. I liked the blonde MMC.
And it's funny because I feel like, I'm very active on Reddit and I'm somewhat active on Threads, and I see the thing about the blonde MMCs so often. So
It's so
often.
Yeah.
true.
It's a
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, it's a trope.
It's a trope. It truly is. But I feel like it's because writers will they'll write them as either like the secret bad guy, right? Or maybe the guy she's with now, but that's not the guy she ends up with. Like they're always pigeonholed into those roles. So they never really develop as like a true character that we actually want. And you actually developed them as
Oh,
characters, which I
thanks.
very much wanted
Mhm.
the entire time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny. I saw Lindsay wrote, "Here I go trying to find Brigid on Reddit." I must have been the one person in the universe who did not realize people were using fake names on Reddit. So I am literally on Reddit as Brigid Kemmerer. Like, it is literally my username, and I have so much karma. Like, I cannot give it up.
No, it's so true. Because with most social media like platforms, like you like Instagram with
Yeah.
YouTube and TikTok, like you're saying who you are because it's like part of your brand. It's how you like network with all these people. But Reddit is feral.
Reddit
It's
is
just
feral.
a
Yes.
wild, wild west out there.
Yeah.
My husband is out there with a weird, weird username, and I'm
Everybody
like,
is, right? Like, it's like alternate
okay.
goat 426
I-
or whatever.
Yeah. I got kicked off Reddit at one point. I don't know how. I told the girls this. Like, apparently I said, "Hey, we have a podcast about this." And they're
You
like,
crazy
"You
girl."
can't do that." And I was like, "Okay, I'm sorry." Okay. So I got kicked off. But these girls don't know that we are now on Threads as of this week. They don't know that because I haven't told them that yet. But I have seen you on Threads, Brigid. And so Threads has been not as chaotic as I thought it would be. But
Just
again,
give it 5 minutes.
I was going to say it's only been since Monday and it is Wednesday. So let's see what happens.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I
the
feel like
Threads
Kelly
algorithm is fascinating
Yeah.
because like there is no like if you say something about somebody and you don't think they're going to see it, it is guaranteed that it is going
Yep.
to show up at the top of their feed, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is,
Yes.
who it is. Yes.
Yes, you're
Mhm.
right, because it will say, "Hey, there's this thread that we suggest you get part of." And I'm like, "Why? Why? Why?
Nope.
Why?"
Nope.
So it shows up there at the top trying to advertise to me.
And I am convinced, and this is going to make me sound like a conspiracy theorist. I know we're supposed to be talking about Warrior Princess Assassin, and here we're like on a tangent about social media. I am convinced on Threads, sometimes I will see like a viral post that's like just enough to be a little annoying, or a little controversial, and it'll have like 17,000 likes, and I'll click on the profile. And they'll have only ever posted on Threads like 4 times. I am convinced that there are a lot of bots. Like, start paying
I
attention.
bet.
You'll see
Okay.
something,
I will.
something like
That's what I'll do.
just
when
a little
I'm scrolling
inane.
later.
Odd.
Yeah, just a
Mhm.
little,
Yeah.
a little. Like you'll be like, wait, why would anybody ever do that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you'll click on the profile, and it'll be like 4 different things in the past year. And you'll be like, wait, I don't think this is a real
Okay.
person. Yeah.
So we've started on Threads, but Kelly will be cautious.
I am posting and ghosting right now. I'm just here's our
That's
stuff.
the best way. It's the best
I'm
way to do
engaging
it.
with the authors that we like, and I'm testing out the waters. That's why I didn't tell you yet. I was like, it might not
Let's
last.
play with it.
Yeah. Our book club, actually, because Natalie put in the chat, like, we told you Threads was feral. I literally was talking to the book club
Feral.
about it, and they were like, do you want to be on Threads? I don't know. Do you want to do this? So anyway, well, we're there, and Bridget's there, so I guess we've got some friends at least.
There you
There
go.
we go. Well, guys, if anybody is on who has not read the book, that is the end of spoiler free. So if you don't want to be spoiled, stop listening. Or if you want to be, just okay, fine, keep listening, have fun. It's great. If you haven't read this book, read it right now. Add it to your TBR. I have told
Yeah.
everybody that I have told to read this book has been like, "Oh my god, I absolutely love this book," because I cannot think of a book that has done this trope this well ever. If
Mhm.
you know, you know. So we're going to just jump into our questions and let's have a lot of fun.
Yay!
Yeah,
So,
so good.
Brigid, I think this was your first adult fantasy book, correct?
Yes. Yes, I've done a lot of
Ooh.
YA. I have done 18 YA novels, and this was my first adult fantasy romance. I will say, like YA, especially in YA fantasy, it's a little you can play a little fast and loose with the ages. Like if anybody's read my Defy the
Yeah.
Night trilogy, they all the characters range in age from like 18 to 25. Um, Same with like Forging Silver into Stars. They all range that 18 to 24-ish range. But this is my first where like the characters truly were adults. We can have open door, intimacy. The characters could have a little bit heavier dialogue about what's going on in the world. Just a different kind of manuscript to write. I will say,
Mhm.
I when I write YA, I really, really take it seriously. Like I am genuinely writing for teenagers as a mom of
Good.
teenagers. I really think a lot about like the language I'm using and the way characters are presented and especially like intimacy. I'm not writing to teach a lesson,
Mhm.
but all of that, I'm just very cautious about like how I'm presenting something on the page. That if characters are getting intimate, that it's there to show some kind of growth for the character. And I'm also
Mhm.
very aware that I
Yeah.
have young readers. I have like readers as young as 10 and 11, which is amazing. I get the cutest messages from them. I have
Aw.
one girl who was like 11 who sent me an email and she was like, my mom thought I might be too young for one of your books, but I am not too young. And I read the whole, and I'm
Oh,
like,
that's
All right, girlfriend.
I was like,
adorable.
"This is the cutest message I've ever gotten." And, I'm, like, really aware. So, like, when I have a scene, like, where 2 characters are possibly going a little beyond kissing, it's heavily implied language where, like, if you know, you know. But, like, if you don't know,
Yes.
you have no idea. And, but in
They
Warrior
just
Prince
kissed.
they're just kissing. Yes, yes. And, but in Warrior Princess Assassin, I could just open the door. I could wide open the door. And I did have a little bit of a moment where I was like, can I say that? Can I use that word?
Yes,
Am
you
I allowed?
can.
Yeah. Right.
Yes, you can.
And even
Mhm,
when I
mhm.
sent the first draft to my editor, I sat on the couch and like stared at my husband and he was like, what is wrong? And I'm like, I feel like I drunk texted my boss. Like, is this okay? Like, so am I going to get in trouble? But no, it was fine.
Can anybody see me writing these words? These are really inappropriate words. Is
Yes,
somebody watching
yes.
me right now? So, was this just like a story you've been wanting to tell for a while, or did it just pop in your head really recently and you're like, "Oh, I have to write this down. This is good."
So, it was a couple years ago that I first started writing it, and I had this scene in my mind that I could not get rid of. Like my brain just would not let it go, and it was essentially, kind of the second chapter of the book. It was a princess who was, lying in bed, late at night, and she was really distressed because she knew that the next day she was going to have to marry this man that she was afraid of. And I didn't in the beginning, I didn't even know why she was afraid of this man. I just knew that she did not want to go through this wedding, and she kept waiting for her best friend to climb through her window. And I knew he was going to be like an outlaw or an assassin, and that it was a secret best friend of hers. And just this scene would not leave me alone. She's just waiting for her friend to come visit her because she's so stressed out about this marriage. Um, and I knew ultimately that I wanted all 3 of them to kind of have to end up in a relationship together. I just knew right from the beginning, as soon as I could see all 3 of them kind of clearly in my head, I knew. And that stupid first scene just would not leave me alone.
I'm
Um,
glad.
and I
Yeah.
I'm
and
glad it
I
wouldn't leave you alone.
and I remember I'm good friends with Jodi Picoult, and she loves romantasy. And I remember sometimes when an idea is brand new with me, I don't tell anybody. I don't tell any writing friends. I don't tell my husband. I just kind of like let it percolate in there because I'm terrified that somebody's like, I'll tell somebody and they'll be like, oh. You know what I mean? Like that's enough. I'd be like, okay, it's done. I'm never writing it.
Yeah.
But I texted Jody like out of the blue, and I was like, all right, so I need to tell you about this polyamorous romantasy. I want to write about a princess and an assassin, and she was like, stop everything. And you'd have to scroll far back on my Instagram, but I do have a screenshot of her text messages from when we were talking about it.
That's
Because
That's
it
so
was so
cute.
great.
great.
Yeah, it was so great.
That
That's the kind of friend you need.
Yes. Yes.
Jody Picoult
100%.
in general, and then yes, exactly.
Yes.
That's awesome.
I think that honestly is the best way to go into this book because I think all three of us went into it just completely blind. We didn't know
Mhm.
what to expect other than the little blurb on the summary. And you get into it and you're like, you don't know if it's a love triangle, but you then definitely like get these hints and you're like, "Oh, wait.
Yep. Yep. You're
Oh,
like, "Wait,
wait.
huh? Huh?" Yeah,
Are
I
my
love it.
instincts wrong? Wait
Mhm.
a minute." And then it
Yep.
like just slowly evolves into this like true polyamorous relationship. It's just so honestly refreshing. I want to say refreshing
Yeah.
because so many people use that as almost like a spice trope
Uh-huh.
rather than approaching it from like an actual romantic relationship
Yeah.
perspective, like an official relationship. And it was
Yeah.
refreshing to see it
Thanks.
evolve that
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
It was so
Their
surprising.
their relationships were really, I think, well built because I think what was exciting for me is seeing that I loved that their relationships as all 3 of them were so like, Asher and Jory's relationship was very different, and, like, the way that Asher relates to Jory is different than the way
Mhm.
that he related to Kai, and
Yes.
you could see the way they all brought out different parts of each other, and I really loved that so much. I do not read, like, trigger warnings on books, because I don't like to be spoiled, and for me, I'm like, I know I'm not gonna read a trigger warning or a trigger warning list. If I don't like something, I'll just stop reading it. I'm not gonna be mad about it, but I do that to myself, and I
Mhm.
just read the blurb, and I was like, "Okay, yeah, this is good." I'm so glad. I'm so glad because it was yeah, it was well done, and it was the relationship was really cool, and I feel like I don't know if this is a coherent question, but okay, I'll ask it this way. Was there a character was it the princess that you thought of first and then built everything around her and her storyline? Did you know going into it, this is gonna be a polyamorous relationship and I'm gonna build it up to be that way? Did they kinda take you down different paths as you were building it out? Like, when did that all come together for you?
So I knew right from the beginning that it was going
Mm,
to ultimately be a polyamorous relationship. And I wanted to make sure, among the three of them, that everybody had something that they needed and wanted that they weren't fully getting from just one other person.
yeah.
And it was really important to me. And like I wrote the book, any book that I write, I generally write it basically chronologically, where I just write straight through. So, we have our first two chapters where we meet Asher, we meet the princess, and then we meet Kai. And I really wanted readers to have just a very clear idea of like who they were. Oh, and then
Mm,
there's the Asher chapter where we start to learn that maybe Asher is keeping some secrets from the princess.
mhm.
And you know, I it was really important to me right from the very beginning that each of these characters kind of discover something new in someone else in the trio. And
Mhm.
I had a lot
And
of
it w
people in that scene with, there's a scene, where they're in the little shed in the woods, in the little cabin in the
Mhm,
woods,
mhm.
and when Kai needs to, basically Kai needs to
Yep,
pee, and
yep.
Yeah.
and that's the scene that most people will message me, and they'll be like, "Pause."
Yes,
Wait a minute, am I
100%.
picking
No,
something up? Yeah.
when I said oh, it's that scene where I'm like, "Okay, maybe I'm not crazy here. Maybe I am feeling what I'm feeling, and it's valid what I'm feeling right now."
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
That was the theme.
well, let's go back and let's have a little bit of a world building chat. So, can you
Okay.
tell us about just building this world? Because we have the three kingdoms, Astranza and Sendar Draconis. We have this concept of magic versus non magic. So, what did you want readers to feel just stepping into this world?
For me, so anytime I start any of my books, I'm very much a character-driven writer, obviously. And I try to let the world build kind of organically around them. And I give myself a lot of permission to get it wrong as I'm writing, because I can always go back and fix it later. So, if characters need, one type of magic, I will add it in as I'm going, and then I will go back and layer it in. If the magic isn't working at some point, I'll be like, "Oh wait, scrap that. We need to reel it in, go back and fix it." For this one, I really wanted to, instead of having like this huge expansive cast of, 50 different characters and, making it more about the fantasy, for this one, I really wanted to make it about these three traumatized individuals living in kind of this medieval fantasy world and how they were going to cope with everything they were going through without kind of everything we have in 2026.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good, because that is how I completely took it. And it's kind of nice because you can get a lot of times bogged down in these fantasy worlds where you're like trying to just remember every single nuance of it because you don't know
Mm.
what is and what isn't necessarily important right now. So you're just trying to memorize it all and it just becomes too much and too heavy. And so it was kind of refreshing how you just gave it to us as we just organically experienced the
Mm.
world, and it just wasn't too much at any one time, especially when you said the priority was really more the relationships here.
Yeah.
Yes.
The characters. Yep. Hmm.
So maybe why don't you walk us through our 3 main characters, Jory, Asher, and Kai, and kind of like their personalities and how you envisioned them and wanted them to grow? Because I have so many feelings on these characters.
Oh,
You
I
know
can't
what
wait to hear yours.
You know what I
I
just realized, Bridget? I finally can look up like fan art of them because I wasn't
Oh my
doing it
god,
on
Kelly.
purpose.
You can. You
I
can.
can do
It's
it
so
now. Okay,
good.
You do
you
it.
you tell us about them, and I'm gonna look up character art. I'm so excited.
I mean, so, Jory is my princess, and she has lived a very, very sheltered life. She has always been pushed down by, her mom died when she was young. Her mom died when she was 15. She has always really been like pushed down and pushed aside by both her dad, by her brother. Her brother's the crown prince. Her father, you learn in the first chapter, her father is dying. And her brother is kind of like, I just need you to get out of here and marry this dude
Mhm.
so that, we can get this alliance done. Let's get on with it. And Jory, and this comes out even more in the second book, Jory is the type of girl who almost isn't aware, like, how much, like, deeply buried trauma she is carrying from this
Uh-huh.
relationship
Mm.
with her brother.
Uh-huh.
Especially, and how much harm this has caused. She wants to do the right thing. She's naive, she's inexperienced, but she really wants to learn and she really wants to care about her people and what's going on, and she wants to make things better. So then we have Asher, who has been her best friend since they were very young. Asher has grown up in the palace right alongside Jory. Um, but then when he was 16 and she was 15, her mom died because she was killed by outlaws, by bandits, and his mom was blamed. And his mom was ultimately executed, and Asher was exiled from the palace. And he was basically forced into indentured servitude. And Jory knows that he was exiled. She knows he was forced into, this indentured servitude. This has always been taught to Jory as like, this is beneficial for the kingdom, right? Like,
Mm.
Uh-huh.
if people can't, instead of locking people in prison, they can work off their debts, whatever. And so Jory's
It's
like,
nice. It's no
it's
big
nice.
deal.
It's so
This is
easy,
how
right?
everybody's happy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
And, but much like the conversation I just had with one of my kids, like when a crime is payable, when you can pay your penalty with money, it's really only a crime if you're poor, right?
Hmm.
And,
Right.
so Asher is in this situation where he's kind of been forced into slavery essentially. And Jory has no idea. Joy has no idea, everything that has happened to Asher in these last 10 years. He just comes to visit her and he's just the boy that she once knew. And it's really important to Asher to keep this secret because Jory is really the last person on earth who remembers him as he was. So, he doesn't want her to know, he doesn't want her to see everything that he has gone through. Um, he knows that she would not be able to fix it because of her relationship with her brother. And, so really basically Asher and Jory are these two, not to call them idiots, but they're kind of idiot. Like I love them so much. But at the same
They
time,
just don't know what they don't know.
like together, yes, they don't know what they don't know. Like together,
Yeah.
I'm like, guys, right? And so then we have Kai. So Kai is this
Kai.
I love
Okay.
Kai, and he's so fun to write. Because so here we have Kai, who, so Asher and Jory at the beginning of the book. Asher's 26, Jory's 25. Here we have Kai. He's 30. He is a seasoned soldier. He has been at war like his entire life. Like his dad took him to the battlefield when he was 4 years old. He's been at war his entire life. He's had it rough. Like that's all he knows is how to be a soldier. And he also is ready to go through with this, marriage. He really doesn't want to be married. He doesn't want a wife. He doesn't even envision himself as a husband. He cares about his people. He cares about his sister. He's keeping some secrets about his sister. He's very worried about, what's going to happen with her and how her entire situation affects his people. And he shows up, just ready to go through with this whole wedding, and ends up meeting Jory and Asher because they have plotted to kidnap him. And,
They're such bumbling idiots.
Poor Kai is like, what the fuck? Like I feel like Kai's entire attitude through the entire book and really through all of book 2 is tired dad, right?
Yeah. That's
a
real.
good way to say it. Like these children are feral, and I'm just trying to keep this whole ship afloat.
Yes. Like they're like, we're gonna kidnap the king, and because both Jory and Asher, they're like, so Asher has been ordered to kill, her and the king. He's obviously not gonna kill Jory, so he's like, hey Jory, let's get out of here. I'm gonna kill the king. And she's like, no wait, I already met the king. I don't think he's a bad dude.
I like him.
He's hot.
He's fine.
Like yes. Yeah. And so she's like, we have to bring him with us. And Asher's like, all right, we'll bring him with us really violently, right? And so poor Kai. But Kai, because he's commanding his entire army, Kai is really good at people. Like he really understands people, and he figures out what makes Jory tick. He figures out what makes Asher tick. And there are definitely some moments where we don't know if Kai's a good guy or a bad guy, or if we can trust him, but we can absolutely trust him. Yeah, he was just writing their dynamic among all three of them was just so much fun.
And it was so much fun to read that dynamic. Because so many times he is just like, of course you two did this. Of course you two are insane. And I need to basically reel you both in. But it is a burden I am willing to take on for both of you. And I absolutely just love Kai's character because it's like Jory, you see Jory and Asher as this like friends to more. And the concept of Kai just entering this dynamic and being this like sound and stable character for both of them is what really grew both of them. They were not going to get out of their like pigeonholed relationship without him.
Yeah.
And I think you said this earlier, you're like, I needed something that they didn't get from the other, that they needed to get from this third party. And for that, they needed him to grow.
Yes.
And let's talk about the pacing of the book, because this is a beautiful, and it is my favorite trope, slow burn.
Yay!
We have tension. Yes. We have yearning. We start to see, as you said, that the characters have a lot of trauma. And it seems intentional that you chose that pacing to match with the relationship. But can you talk a little bit more about that like slow burn pacing that you chose for this story?
Yes. I choose this pacing for all of my like I love the angst. I love a slow burn. I love little moments between characters and letting them like figure out like when they're going to start to trust each other, when they're going to just take a beat and look at somebody through kind of a new lens. I just love it. It's one of my favorite things to write.
He touched my hand.
Yes,
yes. He grazed my knee or something like that. And I'm like, oh
was
my
that
God.
a look or was that not a look?
Yes,
that's my favorite. Like the pee scene. Wait, did he look at his pant buckle or did he not look at his pant buckle?
Are they having a moment as he unbuckles?
What's happening?
Speaking of the pee scene, I cannot tell you. Oh my God. I asked so many different men about like how they would handle this situation. And
Turn around. What are they?
So being like, because like I started with my husband, and I was like, all right. So imagine that you've got a guy tied up, and my poor husband is always like, "Hun, I'm watching the game." Like he's like, "What? What?" Yes. No, he's very used to
All
it.
right, sure. I've got a guy tied up. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
exactly. And I'm like, and then he needs to pee, but you can't untie him. Like, are you going to unfasten his pants? Like, how are you going to handle this situation? My poor husband's like, I don't know. But like so many different guys, like some guys, like my husband, you know, he's in his 50s and he's also a very practical guy. He's like, I'd probably just unfasten and walk away. And but then some guys were like, I'd let him pee on himself. Like, I don't care. Yeah, it was a fascinating little research experiment.
You know what? That is a fascinating research experiment. I think I'm going to do this one.
I was going to say, I can't wait for my husband to get home because I'm going to ask him. I'm curious.
If you had a guy tied up.
If you had a guy tied up. Listen, my husband was in the military, so I think he would go into it very tactical.
Pragmatic. You need to report back to me. Yes.
I will. Oh, we will.
Yes. My husband, I'm already making him start to read some of these books, and he's like, he'll immediately look at me and he'll be like, is this from one of your books? And I'll be like, answer the question.
Yes, it is. Now answer the question. Well, I hold this iron forged, rubied, fake, but beautiful dagger to your throat that I got at BookCon, please.
Spoon.
Lindsay, I got a spoon. Does that
I've got a spoon, and
You say that, Kelly. But I do have exactly that.
I know. Oh, I know. Mine's not here because my son steals it, but yes, I know you do.
We're totally same people.
Yeah, I also feel like we need, if every book club that we did had a shirt, this book club's shirt would say, speaking of the pee scene on the back.
Yes.
That's what it would say.
That's amazing.
That really is very true, because the first scene where you're kind of like, hold on a minute. I'm sensing a tingling in the universe.
Oh, so good. So good.
So, as you said, I think a huge theme of this book is trauma and healing, and particularly when it comes to Asher, because what he went through is just absolutely horrendous. But I also think like his journey is the most beautiful to see, right? As he slowly opens up to Jory and tells her kind of these hard truths that she is just too naive to have known about previously. And then particularly how he starts to trust Kai and like this intimacy of allowing Kai to touch him, even though he still is hesitant and he like flinches even when Jory touches him. So how did you approach writing Asher's journey, and how is that going to continue in book 2 and in book 3?
So I don't know what's wrong with me, but I write a lot of traumatized characters. It was funny. I did an event with Sarah Beth Durst last week, and I love Sarah. She's such a lovely, lovely individual.
Wait, speaking of the pee scene, we'll tell that story later. Sorry,
but we were sitting there doing this event together, and you know, she was talking about how she just loves to make. You know, anytime she's writing, she thinks about like, how can I make this scene more magical? How can I make it more wondrous? Like it was, just this beautiful, whimsical statement. And the whole time she was talking, I'm thinking, oh my God, when I write, all I'm thinking about is how can I make this scene more traumatic? How can I make it more tragic? Like, what is the worst possible thing I can do to this character? And then how can I make it even worse? So I don't know what that says about me. But luckily there are all kinds of writers and all kinds of readers. But no, for Asher's character, you know, in the YA space, I've done a tremendous amount of research on like trauma and healing and, you know, the psychological effects and things like that. I've had, you know, abused characters before, just going through different kinds of situations. Um, Sorry, a kid was sneaking in. I've
That's
had, so I've done a lot of research there, and then, moving into the adult space, as I said, not just opening the door as far as the intimacy, but I was able to really show the full depth of what had happened to
mm,
Asher and what he was going through and how the other characters were going to react to him as they found these things out.
mhm,
It was it's so touching to kind of see him progress, and he's not healed by any means
mhm,
at the end of book 1, and he still has a lot more trusting to do with both of them, and I love the fact that so many books will present us with all of these traumas, and then magically at the end of that book, the character is supposed to be healed and totally fine with it and able to just move on and hop on a dragon and just go slay the kingdom and win everything, and I'm like, "That's totally not realistic
Yeah.
to, like, human emotion." So the fact that you're taking it slow and
mm,
pacing it, it just makes it seem a lot more real, and like you're respecting the fact that it's not an easy solution, it's not a quick fix, and you have to evolve
Yeah.
and
mhm.
and just experience life. It's not going to be fast,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I loved that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's like
Thank you.
it's like in a hopeful sense, right? Like, oh, progress is
Yes,
being made, like
yes,
the characters hit a milestone and you're like, "Oh, okay, I have hope for them for the future," but
yes.
it's far from over, which is good because I feel like as a reader that hooks you, right? Now I need to
Hmm.
know the rest of their healing journey and I need to know like all the little because I think we all know that the healing journey is probably not going to be linear in most cases and so I'm just even more hooked to know how they're gonna go, 5 steps forward and 3 steps back on
Yes,
on their journey.
that's so true.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And here's one of my favorite quotes from the book, and I'm feral about this quote. This is one of my probably favorite quotes of any book in a very, very long time.
Wow.
This is Kai speaking just to Asher, and he says, "You are not my prisoner, Asher. You are free to stay, just as you are free to leave. But no one will take you away from her. No one will take you away. No one will take me away from you. Certainly not me." And then he leans in to hear the righteous conviction in my voice. "You are free. But if this is where you choose to remain, know this, no one will take you away from me." And when I read that line,
Thanks. It's one of
So
my
good.
favorite thank you. Thanks.
Lindsay's like,
I was
so good.
like, I was so giddy. Like,
Yeah.
it made me so freaking happy. And I think that was I don't know about you ladies, that was my biggest surprise of the whole
Mm,
throuple relationship was Asher and Kai together and how powerful their relationship was. So maybe can you talk about that intimacy between Asher and Kai and how you approached building that connection between those 2?
mm,
Man, I don't know if I can, because sometimes it's just
I know it.
sometimes it's just writing magic. Like, it just
yeah.
like, I knew from the beginning, like, I knew how I wanted, everybody to kind of interact, and, and I really do I love all 3 of their relationships, but there's that moment in the inn, and so there's the scene in the inn where, Asher, it's like when he really first starts to kind of trust Kai.
Mhm,
When, Jory, or when he finally confesses everything to Jory, like everything that's been done to him, and Kai is there with them. And, and Jory's like, just, tell me, like, I need you to tell me more. And Kai is like, hey, like, take it easy. He's had enough. Like, he can see that Asher is really kind
Yes.
of like falling apart.
yeah.
And for Asher, that's really the first time that somebody has kind of stood up for him in that way. And I really didn't even plan that scene. I didn't even plan that line, where he says, "Princess, he's had enough." And like the instant that happened, I was like, "Oh, I really love this." And
Mhm.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh-huh,
yeah,
because
yeah,
I love that you brought that up because for me, that was a huge moment as well when he says, "Jory, stop. Can't you see how you're hurting him?"
Yeah.
Like, And
Mhm.
because I love that Asher also returned the same favor to Kai later in the book when he's like, you need to stop because she's just so naive as to relationships is in general. But those two
Mhm.
have such a pulse on how the other is feeling. It's
Yeah.
like it's like you have love between Jory and Asher, but you have this intimacy between Kai and Asher that is
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
it's like everything. You called it magic, and girl, you're not
Yeah.
wrong. It's
Oh,
magic.
Yeah. Yeah. I have theories about why I think they are the way they are together, all three of them. But I'm like, do I want to tell this to the author? Because what if you're like, that's absolutely not what I was
no, I
intending
love
when I
I
wrote that?
hearing. I love hearing what your theories.
I want you to
Okay.
tell this to the author.
Okay.
I want to hear
So
it.
yeah, and so this is just my perception of these characters, right? So you have Jory, who's like you said, naive, just because she just doesn't know what she doesn't know, right? She's lived a very sheltered life. And then you have Asher, who has lived the opposite life, and he is so shut off because of all these things that have happened to him. And then at the top of this triangle, you have Kai, who has seen all the things and been through all the things, but is more mature and has maybe dealt with some of the things in his life and dealt with the things that he's seen in either a better way or just has had longer time to like grow up and know how to handle whatever it is. And so to me, I see Kai being for Jory someone who can help her see the realities of the world as Asher can do, but Asher is so closed off sometimes that he has a hard time doing that for Jory. And then on the other side, Asher has seen it all and Kai understands it, but Asher hasn't had to open up or is struggling to open up, and he doesn't trust Jory because he's like, what, like, I picture him rolling her eyes at her sometimes, like, what does she know?
Mhm.
But Kai knows. And
Mhm.
so you have this very strong, very masculine in terms of like powerful character in Kai that can bring out the more intimate parts of both of them. And to me, I think Asher feels safe with him because he's like, he gets me. And he has this protector piece of him that Asher has always had to play this role for Jory specifically, right? And now he
Mhm.
gets to kind of put that down and be protected. And
Oh,
Jory
he
can't do that
does.
for
He
him,
does.
right?
Yeah.
And
No,
He
so
you're absolutely
does.
right.
and so I'm like, I wonder if it's like they all have those little pieces of where they can connect that make their relationship great. And then like these are the pieces that are missing, like you said. Anyway, that's how I see it. I don't know if you're like, that's actually
I
not how I wrote it at all,
no,
but
no, but I mean, but it is,
It
and
is.
I almost like, I really like, I wish I could just like read you this entire book right now
Go
because
ahead. Go ahead. We'll stop. We'll do it right now.
no, because there are so many scenes in this book that I love so much. And in this one I got to like focus. So in the first book, I had so many moments where it was all three of them together, right? And they're
Mhm.
figuring each other out, in these little moments with all three of them together. And in the second book, I had the opportunity to let each of them like build their relationship a little bit more like individually. So I have like a lot of scenes where it's like just Asher and Kai. And then I have a lot of scenes where it's just Jory and Asher. And then I have scenes where it's just Jory and Kai. And I love all of them so much. Um,
No.
yeah, like just kind of just building those relationships like brick by brick. And it was a lot of fun. And I really hope
That's
readers
awesome.
love it.
Well, we absolutely do.
Yes.
And
100%.
Brigid, if you didn't know this is so off topic, but we are all neighbors. We all live in the neighborhood together. And the thing that
Oh,
just
that's
scared me, if
cool.
you saw this, was I looked out my window and Lindsay's son was outside my window on his bike waving at me.
Oh,
So, Lindsay, in case you're wondering, your son is riding his bike right there. Okay. Anyway, in case I jumped, that's what you saw.
that's amazing though.
I love that. Okay, I love this. I can't wait for book 2. I would love for you to read me to bed every night for the
Oh,
next however long it takes.
100%. Because, oh my gosh. I love this book. I'm so glad we're finally talking about this book because I didn't
Mhm.
have enough people to talk about this book about. And I've
Yeah.
oh,
literally told
thanks.
so many people that I'm like, I'm not telling you why. I'm just telling you read the book right now. And then when
Yep.
you get to a certain point, you will know why I told you to read the book. And then we can start talking.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just so good. So
And
just done
as
so well.
Kelly so eloquently put it, the peace scene. The peace scene.
The
I
peace
think we're
scene.
gonna all get over the hump at the peace
The
scene, and we
peace
know where
scene.
we know the trajectory of this book, where it's going.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
let's switch topics. Let's talk about other characters in the book because Kai's sister, Victoria, feels like a very important
Mm,
character to the future of the series. Like,
yeah.
as you said, from the beginning, you can tell there's something else going on with her because of Kai's, like, just he's constantly thinking about his sister. And then we meet her and she has this deadly fire magic of her own, but we can also tell she's this, I'll describe her as like a special needs person,
Yes.
right? But how would you kind of describe her? And can you share a little bit about your plans with her for later in the series?
So I can tell you, she definitely shows up in book 2, and I have big plans for her in book 3. Um,
Okay.
she is definitely, a developmentally delayed adult is a great way to phrase it. I have a lot of readers who read her as autism coded, which is also completely
Hmm.
valid. Anytime you
Yeah.
have a character and you're putting them into a fantasy realm, you obviously can't say, they're autistic or, any
Hmm.
of these kinds of words. So, um, basically she's a neurodivergent individual who basically needs constant care. Essentially,
Yeah.
she was a very premature baby, and the mother died in childbirth, and she's just kind of been left to be raised by nursemaids and nannies for her entire life. And Kai is very, very protective of her, while also knowing that she has the same fire magic that he has, but she has no idea how to control it. And when her emotions come out, her magic can flare, and her magic has been causing some problems in his kingdom, and he is kind of at a loss for how to fix that and how to take care of it. And that's all I can really say about that.
Ooh.
Mm, okay.
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 Okay. We're on the right track with thinking about the sister and her
I
importance.
love
Noted, noted,
her.
noted. As
Mhm.
Lindsay would say, okay, I've got a tab in my books for my annotation for the sister.
I'll tab
Noted.
the sister. Tab the
Tab the
sister.
sister. So another important tab I think we would have is maybe Jory's potential magic because I feel like it's very
Mm,
much teased in this book, and I can't tell if it's teased because she doesn't have it or if it's teased because she hasn't been taught by the right person. And I don't want spoilers because that's not what we want. But can you say, will it be explored more
It will be
in the future?
explored more. Yes.
Okay.
okay.
Yes.
All right. All
Noted.
right.
Another tab,
Yee!
lady.
I'm just gonna like yee a lot this episode. Sorry, everybody. I'll fix that in post editing. I'll make sure I don't blow out your eardrums, but I'm excited.
But it going back, it does feel like you heavy themes like trauma representation, it's not things that you really shy away from. And it seems like it is important, tell me if I'm wrong, in your storytelling. And I guess is that kind of a theme we'll see in future books of the series?
Yes, for sure.
Mm, okay.
I I hate the fact that
I
I
know.
say that I like it because I'm like, oh, because as you said, oh, I really want them to be traumatized. But they do such beautiful things
Yeah.
Well, and I
after.
mean,
After.
that's the
Yeah.
great thing about reading, like, right? I mean, and that's why I loved YA so much, and honestly, that's why I love adult romance so much, is because it is such a safe, accessible way to go through such a wide range of emotions, without having to go through it
That's true.
ourselves, and especially seeing
Hmm.
like characters come out safe and healthy at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
true. And it has been something that we've always talked about on the podcast because we won't just talk about spice for like just the sake of spice. We will talk about it, but one thing we've noticed in a lot of different stories is it's almost telling people like here's a healthy relationship and how you approach it. And here's a not healthy relationship
Hmm.
and how you approach it. And given the fact that sometimes it's a taboo topic to talk about like women's sexuality and what we want to read about in books, it is also a good gateway for people to see like a safer way to express yourself when sex is such a normal part of of everyday life, really.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's powerful for people to read about, and be able to have those conversations with their friends too. Like, hey, we've read these books and we can talk about the things that have happened to us, or the things that we're like interested in learning about, and like the trauma that people have been through. Like, it just, yeah, it makes thing I think it makes not just the books more relatable, but I think it helps bring people together and feel like, oh, I can talk about these things, and maybe I should talk about these things with people that I trust.
Mhm.
Um Sarah said, "That's me clocking it," as the kids say. I love that, Sarah. I love that for you, Sarah.
Clocking it? That's what the kids say? I thought
I
they were
didn't know
still
that that's what they say.
I thought they
Yeah,
were
it's
still
a
stuck on 6, 7.
Oh my god,
oh.
my youngest is
How old is your youngest?
12.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm
Okay,
like,
okay.
kiddo, let it go.
The
Can you
older kids are
explain
clocking it. Yeah.
can you explain why my 5-year-old does it? Because that one surprised me.
See, I think it's filtering down. I think it's filtering down because
Yes.
I don't think
Oh,
I've
yes.
heard it as
They
much
get
from
it
my
later.
yeah.
I'm like, "Where did you hear
Mhm.
that?" "The bus." "Okay, the bus is weird."
The bus is a weird place.
Weird place. Okay. So I have 2 major question marks at the end of book 1.
Okay.
Jory's father
Mm,
and Dragonis, because we don't get much detail about either of them, but their impact is very strongly felt completely throughout book 1. It's almost like they're these peripheral antagonists, but we
mm,
Dragonis is just in the background, and Jory's father is like on page for like just one scene, and that's it. So, can you tease what is coming up
You
in 6, 7
will
in
definitely
the
get
next
answers
books?
6, 7. You will definitely get answers about you will definitely get answers about Jory's father and about
okay.
Dragonis in the second book.
Oh,
Ooh,
You
good.
will learn a lot.
that's fun. Okay. All
Because
right.
I feel like looking at the map, I feel like you could have just taken Dragonis out of it and just put a big question mark on like half of the map because
Well, and it's
that's
funny
what I
because on the
felt.
map, let me see, is the map in this arc? Let me see. No, it's not. Wait,
There you
yes, it
go.
is. Yeah, so where it has unexplored, and I went
Yeah.
back and forth
Yeah.
with my editor, and we kept debating on whether we should say unexplored or uncharted. And
Mm,
but yeah, and also the map is the same in this book, so
okay. Good
It's
to
the
know.
same in book 2 at
the
no
map is the same
change.
in book 2, no change
Okay.
yet.
Because
Brigid, I
you
was just showing off my signed copy of your book. I'm just like, okay.
Be
Yay!
because you have to know we are unhinged when it comes to maps and changes in maps
Oh,
between
yeah.
books, and we'll be like, "Wait a minute, that's different.
Uh-huh.
That's
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
different. What does
Okay.
it mean?"
Good
So,
to know. I
okay.
do like that you said unexplored. Okay. I'm excited. Okay. I've never been excited about a map in my life. It's fine.
Never. She's never experienced that ever.
Oh,
She just
even Lindsay wrote me never. Speak for yourself. Never.
Have you ever stared at a map and tried to understand what maybe a tiny little leaf means?
Mhm. Sure have.
Well, I can
Sure
tell you
have.
in one of my books, wait, let me see if I have it here because I love the map. The map was done by Virginia Allen. Hold on, I know I have it here.
That was my middle name before I got married, by the way, Virginia.
Oh,
That's
that's a
pretty.
good name.
Tidbit.
But in Defy the Night, I have this map, and this book deals with like sectors and stuff like that. So I have this map. So as you can see, it's kind of like an
It's a
oval.
good one.
And I had drawn a map that I was working with because there's a lot of this book has a lot of like different politically kingdomy type things going on. So I needed to know where everything was and where people were traveling. And I didn't really realize when I had drawn the map, it was like a vertical oval and they flipped it on its
Mm.
side. So I get messages from readers all the time. They're like,
Oh.
why is north over here? And I'm like, oh, sorry.
Why is northeast?
Oh, interesting.
Yes. And it does have like a compass rose on it. So it says that north is to the right.
Turn
But
it that way.
yeah,
That's funny. Okay. All
I know.
right.
I'm always
All
like,
right.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Map
I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault.
7th grade geography class, look at the compass rose.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm.
Tell me if I'm just being crazy.
Yes, you are.
Probably.
Oh, there's a question. Okay.
There is a question, not just generally speaking, but thanks, Kelly, for jumping in there. So I want to look at the title order between books 1 and book 2. Because Warrior, Princess, Assassin is Kai, Jory, Asher, but Captive, Traitor, King, I think, is Asher, Jory, Kai. Are you willing to admit if I got that right? First question. Okay.
She did this. She as soon as you asked, she went like this. Do, 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 do. Okay. So we're gonna pay attention to that
something.
then.
I'm
not
on
telling
to something.
you. I'm not.
Oh, good. I'm so happy I got that.
Okay. All right. I love that.
Because I
actually
was
love that.
thinking about their order because you make a point of being like, it's 3 people and they're in a relationship together. And then I was looking at the title of the next one. I'm like,
Huh.
wait,
Yeah.
what's
all right.
going on with that order there? And I'm like, I wonder if that's intentional. And now because you won't say anything, I'm like, it's intentional.
And I don't know where.
I mean,
I don't know
find
why.
out. You don't even. I
She's
don't
like,
even
or
know
maybe it's
if
not.
it's these 3. I'm saying.
Okay. All right. We have so much to learn.
Oh my
guess
God. I
we
need
gotta
this
wait.
arc like now.
I guess we gotta wait. Bridget, when does book 2 come out again? What's that date?
November 3rd.
November 3rd.
When can you narrate it for me personally?
Yeah. Are you free tomorrow?
What's your schedule look like? All right. I want to be very respectful for the fact that you have children and we have a hard deadline at 8:15 tonight. So, Kelly,
Yes.
I want you to pick our favorite chatter for the evening. And Brigid,
Yes.
maybe you can tell them what giveaway they're going to be winning.
Lizzie wins. No, we don't count. Well, I am going. So I'm picking the person who was here and just the most chatty tonight. And that is Natalie.
Yay!
I don't know why I'm yelling at you, Natalie, but Nat, you're going to win. Brigid, tell her what she won.
You won the advanced review copy of Captive Traitor King. It is paperback. I am more than happy to ship it to you. I just need you or anyone to email me.
Yeah, we'll get
your
you the
mailing
info.
address.
Mhm.
Yes, that would be amazing.
Oh,
I know, and
I'm so
I'm so
jealous.
excited to send it out. Congratulations. And I hope
Yay,
you love it.
she's squealing. She's the
Natalie,
sweetest.
you
Yay!
better love this because I'm so jealous of you
You're
right
going to
now.
love it. You're going to love it. I'm so
Natalie,
excited.
just DM us, whatever. You know how to reach us. Give us our address. We will connect it with Brigid and she can send you that copy that... Oh, I'm so jealous that you get to win.
Maybe Natalie, you need to call us and read it to us.
Yes.
As you go to bed. She is a teacher, so I bet she'd have a really great teacher reading voice.
I bet.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to do before you leave us, Brigid, although I would love to talk to you for like another entire hour.
I know, I could talk to you guys all
everything.
night. So thank you.
We're going to
You're
have
welcome
you back.
anytime.
We're
Yeah.
absolutely going to have you back with book 2 because I'm going to have a lot of
Yes.
thoughts about it. So don't worry. You will be coming back with us, please. If you
Whether you
want
like it
to.
or not.
Whether you like it or not, you have to come back with us because I want to talk about book 2. But before we leave, Lindsay and I did this with you in LA at Romantasy Con. I want you to do, even though it is so horrible to do, fuck, marry, kill with Jory, Asher, and Kai.
No! I can't. I'm sorry. I can't. I cannot. I don't want to kill anybody.
No.
Yeah. No, I'm
No.
sorry. I'm going
They
to.
all live.
Yeah. Again, why
Maim.
choose? Right. So.
Why choose? Maim.
Yep.
Maim.
No, I'm sorry.
Honestly.
Can't name anyone. They're all
It's
too
a true
traumatized.
polyamorous relationship.
It
They
is.
all stay together.
They
You
all
can't
stay
separate
together.
one from the whole.
Do you know I would maim Jory and replace her so that I could like jump into like, bye sister,
And-
I'm gonna take over.
I'm the new princess. Sorry.
One of my
Heyo.
favorite reviews was like, this book is like medieval heated rivalry, but I'm the girl. Yes!
Oh my god, Kelly, I
That's
need
so
you
funny.
to like do that
Okay.
as a clip because
Got you.
that is 1000% it, because it's like MM is a priority in this relationship and I love
Yeah.
seeing that.
Yeah, yeah. Their character development as a couple within the trio is so good. It's so good.
So
Thanks. So good.
Yeah. So good.
Brigid, we love you.
Oh,
I wish
love
we could
you
talk
guys.
to you forever. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
for
you
Book
all
Club.
so much. This was so much fun, and I really like, I can't even do it. Like, there we go.
We're
how do
millennials.
kids do
We
it?
don't-
Like they
we
do
don't-
like the weird.
I don't know.
They do this
Oh!
weird that thing maybe or
What?
something. Oh,
I
it's
don't
doing
know.
hearts. Your
Help
thing
me.
is doing hearts.
Oh, I don't know how to do it. Guys, I'm not good
She's
enough.
a master
Yes,
of
Lindsay
yeah.
can do it.
Lindsay. Yeah. This? I don't know. I'm too old for this.
Ugh.
Listen.
Now this is like
Heart.
eyes.
Heart.
Yeah.
This is where we connect our hearts.
It also looks like sorority stuff. Like
It
like-
does.
I know.
When
Why
would
is mine
people do
the
that?
only
I'm like,
one doing
AKO?
like
You've mastered it.
I
We
guess.
can't
You have a
do it,
Mac?
apparently. I don't know what's wrong with us.
Yeah.
We're
Mm.
losers.
Well, thank you all
Just
so
so-
much.
Thank you,
for
Brigid.
joining us.
You guys
we
are
cannot
amazing.
wait. Are you going to be in Orlando?
I am. I'm coming to the Romantasy Book Con in
Yes.
Orlando in is it October?
It's
Yes.
October.
And I'm gonna
We'll see you there.
I'm gonna.
We'll see ya.
I don't know yet. I'm trying to see if I can sell Captive Trader King at that one because it's the weekend before release. So fingers crossed.
Yes, please.
All right,
Yes,
we'll see.
Okay.
please. We will
Well,
see
we
you
will
there.
see you there.
Maybe this time we will bring the wine and the runts.
Oh my God,
because that
I
is what
quit
you gave us the
drinking.
first time.
Okay, we'll bring you electrolyte drinks.
Electrolytes.
I love these like. There's so many like
Ooh.
little mocktaily drinks now.
Alani's.
There you go.
Yes, they're
Yeah.
so good.
Electrolytes and candies. That's what we will bring
Perfect.
you in
Fabulous.
October. Awesome.
It was so good to see you guys. Have a great
So good to
night.
see you.
Thanks,
Bye.
Brigid. Bye,
Lindsay, I hope
everybody.
you feel better.
Oh, thank you.
Our little sick Lindsay.
And thanks to everybody who tuned in.
Yes, you can
Thank
do
you,
our
guys.
millennial bite.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a good one.